going to create the top now, and it's best that we create the top off of a different object, and then we can group it in with all of the other objects, because the topology that's in here right now, we want to preserve it for all of these changes to the surface transitions. We don't need these faces here. I want to keep this pretty straightforward. So I'm going to select this face, and you can make collections of components. And the greater than and less than keys on your keyboard are the hotkeys to decrease or increase them. So if I use the period in Shift, to increase the collection, so these two keys, Shift comma, Shift period, greater than, less than, you can increase or decrease collections. So if you select a face, it's going to select every face that's adjacent to it. So just a really quick way to make a component selection. I can take those and press the delete key on my keyboard. I'm not going to extrude this edge. I'm going to create a new object. Let's rough it out and then go into your perspective, or go into your orthographic views. You can kind of put this in here, and then can zero out the x-axis, can zero out the z-axis, keep the y where it is, hold Control, middle mouse click, fine tune in each of these views, and we'll put it right about there, maybe a little bit more. We could even go forward with this. Sometimes desks have, go back to the depth, something along these lines. I think I've got this backwards right now. We're looking down the side from the object's left side. And basically your furniture is done. In future modules, we're going to be working with beveled edges and refinements, and you can use the bevel tool, experiment with it. It's right up here as a hotkey. It's also should be under Edit Mesh Bevel right there. It's an edge command. You can select edges and bevel them if you want to. You can experiment with that. I'm not going to worry about that for this module. I'm more worried about using the Insert Edge Loop tool and the Extrude tool primarily. So for our hinges and our knobs, it's pretty straightforward. Just going to go into a top camera, create a cylinder like so, and we're going to keep this really simple, so make it 6 subdivisions around. I'm just going to go into my orthographic views. Looks like it comes down to about, and we can modify the height. Use 0.8 for a value here. Your values could be totally different depending on the scale to which you're working. If we want to snap something so it aligns to it, we can just grab one axis and the V key. V is in vertex, and you can always just snap it like that and go into Control and middle mouse click on the radius and just fine tune that radius. Kind of move it off to the side a little bit. Okay, we can go ahead and duplicate it. And always use your orthographic views to stage things, especially with things like furniture that are built to dimensions and proportions. You can save yourself a lot of frustration. Shift and select that, Control D, duplicate it. And we can move these over to here. Let's go ahead and save our file. And finally, for these knobs, we can use a sphere. And we'll draw this out looking down the Z. We can go ahead and zero this out. Shift and F to frame it. Let's go ahead and bring all of these down to about 8. And I like working at a very low resolution when I'm just developing things like this. Now I'm looking at it from perspective here, the front here, the side from here, and I know it's the left side, so there's the front. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, go to faces, select all these, and I'll delete them. I can go into edges, double click this edge. It's an edge loop. Should be able to select the entire thing. Shift and right click, extrude the edge. We'll go ahead and maximize this view. Now this is one of those instances where that's what it would extrude locally. I don't want that. I'm going to hit that radio button and extrude it globally. And then I'm going to hit G and extrude it again. Now I want it locally. G again. And now because it's oriented like this, its local is usually lined up with its global. It's okay if this is an open cap. We don't have to close it off because we're going to tuck it right inside. Go back to our 4 view, use my scroll wheel, move this around, and then we can kind of work to 2 views here, maybe even 3 to get this out. Probably a little big. Just put one right there. Control D, put the other one right there. Got the broad strokes, the basic fundamental topology of this little 2-door cupboard.